laboratories. This is in Wuhan, the city where the virus...
She predicted the virus of 2020, foretold the devastating Kobe earthquake, and even drew a chilling premonition of Princess Diana's tragic death years before it happened. Japanese illustrator Ryo Tatsuki, once dismissed as eccentric but today known as Japan's modern-day Nostradamus, warns of an event she's calling the Omega Tsunami, expected to strike in July 2025. So who is Ryo Tatsuki? A Japanese manga artist and writer, is best known for her work The Future I Saw. Beginning in 1976, she began documenting her dreams at the age of 20, believing many of them were precognitive dreams, visions of future events. These weren't just vague impressions, they include highly detailed and time-stamped events. This is pretty cool, right? She wasn't just having any dreams, she's having a precognitive dreams. These are time-stamped, right? Anybody can come out and see some crazy prophetic things. So we all know that the world is going to end, but if I ask you, do you know when exactly it's going to end? Then you'll be like, well, I don't know, I just know it's going to be ended. Well, that's not really prophecy, isn't it, right? So the reason why Ryo Tatsuki is because her dreams is time-stamped. I think that's a pretty nice detail, right? So in 1999, she compiled 15 of her most significant dreams into a single volume. Of those, 10 dreams have already come true with uncanny accuracy. 5 have not yet occurred, including the most infamous one, the July 2025 Omega Tsunami prophecy. Immediately after publishing the book, she retired from public life at the age of 44, believing her mission was complete and possibly expecting to die soon, as a dream in 1995 suggested. So her prophetic dreams, what happened to her dreams? Ryo Tatsuki fulfilled prophecy, the full stories. Oof, this is about to be fun. So the first dream that came true was the Kobe earthquake, 1995. She dreamed this on January 2nd, 1995, and the event happened on January 17, 1995. Time lag 15 days. So here's what she saw. In this dream, Ryo Tatsuki found herself amidst a violent shaking and crumbling buildings. She felt immense fear. As chaos surrounded her, she suddenly saw a bright, angelic figure appear in a dream. She begged the angel to take her away from the destruction. The angel responded cryptically, "Not yet, I'll come back for you in 5 years." She woke up terrified and wrote the dream down in her diary. This dream became one of the 15 documented in her 1999 manga, The Future I Saw. So what happened? Just 15 days later, the great Hanshin earthquake struck Kobe, Japan, with magnitude of 7.3, killing over 6,400 people and destroying large sections of the city. Here's one thing that's very important, is that this 15-day gap is significant. In later dreams, Tatsuki would notice that many of her dreams manifested in multiple of 5 days, 15 days, 5 months, or 15 years, hinting at a strange temporal rhythm in her visions. And the second dream she had, the death of Princess Diana. So she dreamed this in 1992, and the event happened on August 31st, 1997. Time lag 5 years. Tatsuki sketched a vague image of a sad woman in a tiara, beneath which she wrote, "Diana died." She didn't understand the dream at the time and recorded it as another ambiguous symbol. It was published years before the actual event. In 1997, Princess Diana died tragically in a car crash in Paris, shaking the entire world. When people went back to her book, they saw the chilling prediction that eerily mirrored the woman's fate. Interesting, huh? So the third dream she had is the death of Freddie Mercury. So she dreamt this in early 1991, and the event happened on November 24th, 1991. Time lag a few months. So Ryo had a dream where she saw a man performing passionately on a stage, but the light around him dimmed and she heard whispers of the two words AIDS. As the image faded, she didn't know who he was at the time, but felt his presence would vanish soon. Freddie Mercury, the iconic lead singer of Queen, died of AIDS-related complications months after. Though not as widely known a prediction as her others, Ryo mentioned it in interviews as one of her most emotional visions. So she was kind of like interviewed, and the reason why Freddie Mercury, right? There are so many people that she could predict their death, but why Freddie Mercury is because she was a huge fan. She and her friend probably, right? They were huge fans of Freddie Mercury. They were huge fans of Queen, and that's why the fourth dream which came true was COVID-19 pandemic 2020. This is crazy. This one is actually crazy. So she dreamed this in 1995, and the event happened, well, you guys know, early 2020, right? I guess we all remember the peak date of COVID-19 was April 2020. This is how she actually predicted this, right? In the mid 1990s, Ryo dreamed of a strange illness spreading across the globe. In her diary, she actually wrote this, right? She wrote that a new virus would appear around 2020, peak in April of that year, disappear temporarily, then return again a decade later. What's crazy about this is that in 1990s, she actually wrote it, and she wrote exactly appear around 2020. That's already pretty precise, considering that she actually even said peak in April. You know, a lot of people, a lot of fake prophets, you know, they come out and tell you, you know, this will happen, the rock will hit the earth, or probably around like in the next 10 to 20 years, in the next 30 years, and then just a little rock, you know, scratch the earth, and, you know, hit the ocean, and that's just ridiculous, right? Because meteorite from the outer space is hitting the earth every single day. We just don't either see it, or it's just too insignificant for us to notice, you know what I'm saying? But it's happening basically every day. But anyway, you can fact check this, you know. You can find that this book is published that year and it actually happened. I mean, wow. So here's what happened, right? The COVID-19 pandemic emerged at the end of 2019, and it became a full-blown global crisis by the early 2020 in Japan and many other countries. The first major wave peaked around April 2020, just as she predicted. And now scientists speculate that COVID could become a recurring virus. Just as Ryo warned, it will return after 10 years. Hopefully not. So after this prophecy came true, many Japanese media platforms and netizens revisited her manga, leading to renewed popularity and analysis of her 1999 book. And then we have the 2000 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. So this is another dream, right? This is the fifth dream which came true. So she dreamt this on March 11, 1996, and the event happened on March 11, 2011. Exactly 15 years time lag. So here's what she saw. In her dream, she witnessed a massive tsunami swallowing entire towns. She heard nothing, just silence and water. When she awoke, she noted the dream happened on March 11, 1996, and described it as a day of disaster. Her manga, published in 1999, features an ominous line on the cover: March 2011, Great Disaster. So on March 11, 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake struck off the coast of Tohoku, Japan, triggering a massive tsunami and leading to the Fukushima nuclear disaster. It was one of the most destructive disasters. I don't know if you have any idea how that would feel, but I was personally in a magnitude 8 earthquake. Everything was shaking, the earth was shaking, and it was shaking for I think up to 5 minutes. You know, everything crashed. Everything, house, buildings, and like I said, I was lucky. I was hundreds of miles away from the center of the earthquake. It happened in China, and so I was safe. But the center of the earthquake, right, the city, completely gone. Like even today, you go to this city right now, you can drive to there, by the way, you can drive to there and you will see that they're still like, they still kind of rebuilt the city, but you can't find anyone live there anymore. Like there will be probably some business running, and you will see some people here and there, but the entire city is gone. And there were piles of body, you know, and people just couldn't recover these bodies anymore. Like there's no way for them to put this body because there were just too many dead bodies. They basically just bury the body in the nearby mountains because they don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? It was a huge disaster I think in the history of China. The entire city is gone from the face of the earth. And magnitude 9 earthquake is crazy. It's crazy. And combined with tsunami, you know, that's what's happened. So when this event unfolded, the March 2011 note in her book was suddenly viewed as uncannily accurate. Went from cult curiosity to a nationwide sensation. So after this event, right after the March 2011, this is when she actually became famous. Like she became known to the public. Because before, maybe it's just like people know her just within this small circle of people, right? In this kind of prophetic community, you know what I'm saying? But now she's actually famous. Media's covering her stories. And people start buying her manga, buying her book, try to understand more about her prophecy. So there is a pattern, by the way. There's a patterns and logic behind her predictions. Her fulfilled dreams often follow a 5 multiplier rule, meaning 5 days, 15 days, or 15 years after the original dream. She doesn't claim supernatural power. Instead, she believes her dreams tap into something beyond time, as if she's glimpsing fragments of the future in symbolic form. Very interesting. So what's more to it? What's more to the what's more to July 2025 we're talking about, right? The prophecy that's about to come. The July 2025 Omega Tsunami prophecy. First of all, let's talk about the dream. So on July 5th, 1999, Ryo had a dream after her book was already published, and she saw. So remember, she published her book in 1999, and this dream which she had about 2025 this year, right? It was after publishing her book, so she didn't really include this story. She didn't really include this dream in a book, so we can't find it in 1999 edition. But this is what she predicted in the same year, right? In 1999. A massive undersea explosion in the Pacific between Japan, Taiwan, and the Philippines. A deep fissure opening up the sea floor, magma erupting from the ocean bed, a towering tsunami over 100 meters high sweeping over the surrounding countries. 1/3 of Japan submerged or gone. A new landmass rising from the sea connecting Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the Philippines. She woke up at 4:18 a.m. Noting the exact time, a recurring theme in her dreams, years later, on July 5th, 2021, she reportedly had the exact same dream again. This time, the words July 2025 Great Catastrophe were shown on a sign in the scene. So the unique elements in the 2025 prophecy is this. First, it was seen from the sky. She observed the events from above, right? 2 massive dragon-shaped clouds appeared in the sky flying eastward. A symbolic image possibly suggesting supernatural or mythical elements. And there is also some clues related to clothing as well. People in the dream were wearing short sleeves indicating summer, supporting the July date. Location of dream. She had this dream not in Japan but while in India, where she had gone on a spiritual journey. And why Ryo believes the event will happen in July 2025. The original dream occurred on July 5th, 1999 and was repeated on July 5th, 2021. The repeated theme of 15 years or 5 times intervals between dreams and real events, for example 1996 dream to 2011 earthquake, and the symbolic time cues like 4:18 a.m. and 5 p.m. along with other dreams showing her own funeral on July 15th. And lastly, she connects the occurrence of disasters to cycles of 15 days, 15 months, 15 years. So these numbers actually have a meaning to her, right? And she can understand it. I don't know if you see the connection here, but here's more to this prophecy, and it might actually be scientifically proven. So scientists and researchers across Pacific have raised similar alarms. So the first one is Japan's Nankai-thru. Scientists now say there's a 90% of chance of a magnitude 9 earthquake striking this region within the next few decades. The undersea tectonic buildup could match the exact location of Ryo's dream. And second, Earth's lubrication theory, which is discovered by Phillips in a 2015 study, a student at the University of Washington discovered freshwater vents on the ocean floor. This might act as a lubricant between tectonic plates. If they dry up or change pressure, a megaquake could be triggered, especially in North America or Japan. Third, slow slip events. Japanese scientists are closely watching slow earthquakes in the Hyuga Nara region, where a magnitude of 7.1 quake occurred on August 8, 2024. This is believed to be a trigger or prelude to Nankai through megaquake. Fourth, geomagnetic storms. NOAA, I think there's something to do with NASA, predicts July 2025 will be the peak of the solar cycle, increasing risk of geomagnetic storms which could disrupt satellites, power grids, and atmospheric stability, potentially influencing tectonic behavior. Fifth, animal and atmospheric anomalies. Deep-sea oarfish and anglerfish rising to the surface, traditionally viewed as earthquake fish. And second is the earthquake lights observed in Taiwan, even before the one that I was in. So I don't want to say that I've seen it with my own eyes, but I remember it was definitely reported that the sky was red. It was like really red. It was believed that this is related to the earthquake because that was just abnormally beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And the sunset was just weird. You see the clouds. There's some kind of clouds, right? Or the shape of the clouds is called the earthquake clouds or something like that, I believe. So before the earthquake, you will find it through the sky. You can see it, you know. And the last anomaly we have is the mysterious temperature spikes in oceanic freshwater events near the Pacific Rim, and that can possibly cause, like we discussed, earthquake. That's what it is, right? So here's more to this. A vision of death and the afterlife. Ryo had another dream within a dream in 1981. A tsunami swallowed her in Yokohama. She woke up in her childhood bed at exactly 5 p.m. with the sunset pouring in. She then crossed a massive overpass, joining her mother and sister aboard giant ships heading toward the sea, each ship carrying people of different nationalities. She interpreted this as a metaphor for death, believing that she and her family may perish in the coming tsunami. She even saw her funeral dated July 15. So here's also a glimpse of hope as well. Despite the terrifying visions, Ryo had one final dream on January 1st, 2001. She saw the world 2025 and life had improved. People were more peaceful, society had rebuilt and thrived. She believed that this was a message of hope. Even if disaster comes, it is not the end. Wow.